Martell Holt. Just the mention of his name is enough to stir emotions. To some, he's the charming, confident businessman who once embodied black love and ambition. To others, he's the man whose temper and pride have burned more bridges than he can rebuild. But this time on Love and Marriage, Huntsville, things went far beyond the usual chaos. The calm shattered when Martell turned his anger towards someone few expected: Nell, the one person often seen as a voice of peace amid the storm. The moment Martell's voice cracked through the tension, you could feel the air change. "That's a slap in my face, Nell," he said, his tone cutting deeper than any physical blow could. Everyone froze. What was supposed to be a casual, friendly conversation turned into a raw explosion of emotion and accusation. And when the clip hit social media, fans went into overdrive, desperate to understand what pushed Martell to this breaking point. Was it betrayal? Was it misunderstanding? Or was this another chapter in Martell's ongoing battle with trust, pride, and pain? To really understand this confrontation, you have to go back to where Martell's story started unraveling long before the cameras ever caught this heated moment. Because this wasn't about just one comment or one event. This was years of heartbreak, mistrust, and unhealed wounds finally boiling over. For years, Martell Holt has walked a complicated path, one paved with success, fame, and heartbreak. Once celebrated as one half of Huntsville's power couple, Martell and Melody's love story seemed untouchable. They built their brand, their family, and their empire together. But what the world saw as perfection slowly crumbled behind the scenes. Infidelity, pride, and public exposure turned their once inspiring union into one of reality TV's most painful breakups. The fallout from that divorce didn't just destroy a marriage, it shattered the image Martell had spent years creating. Every move he made after that became a headline. Every relationship he tried to build was met with side eyes and whispers. He wasn't just Martell Holt anymore, he was that guy from Love and Marriage, Huntsville, the one fans loved to judge. His temper, once dismissed as passion, was now seen as volatility. His words, once confident, were now labeled manipulative. And while others moved on, Martell found himself trapped in the shadow of his mistakes. Yet, beneath the arrogance people often accuse him of, there's a man who still wants to be understood. A man trying to find redemption in a world that rarely forgives. That's why trust has become such a fragile, sacred thing for him. So when he feels betrayed, no matter how small the act might seem, it cuts deep. It reopens old wounds that never truly healed. That's where Nell came in. She wasn't just another castmate. She was someone Martell believed he could rely on, someone who could see beyond the public image and recognize his efforts to change. Nell's calm energy had always balanced out Martell's fire. She was that quiet friend who knew when to speak and when to listen. So when Martell felt that Nell crossed a line, it wasn't just about the act itself, it was about the principle. To him, it was about loyalty. And in Martell's world, loyalty means everything. It all started with something seemingly small. A group outing, a few words exchanged, a photo shared. But in the world of Love and Marriage, Huntsville, nothing stays small for long. According to insiders, Nell had been seen interacting with someone Martell considers an enemy. Someone from his past who he believes disrespected him when he was already down. To outsiders, it might have looked harmless, just a friendly chat. But for Martell, it felt like betrayal. After everything he's endured, seeing Nell mingle with people he believes don't wish him well felt like salt poured into a wound that never fully healed. When word reached Martell, his emotions began to spiral. For days, he stewed in silence, trying to process what he saw. But the more he thought about it, the angrier he became. And when the cast gathered again, all that pent-up emotion came spilling out right there in front of everyone. The room was buzzing with laughter one moment, and then silence fell like a storm cloud the next. "That's a slap in my face, Nell," Martell said, his voice trembling with controlled rage. You could see it in his eyes, this wasn't performative. This was personal. His body language was tense, his hands fidgeting, his voice unsteady. He wasn't yelling for attention. He was expressing years of built-up hurt. Nell, visibly caught off guard, tried to defuse the situation. But nothing she said seemed to reach him. "What are you talking about?" she asked softly, her voice filled with confusion and concern. But Martell wasn't hearing her explanation. In that moment, all he could see was disloyalty, someone he trusted standing too close to people who had publicly humiliated him before. "You know what they said about me. You know what they did," he snapped, his tone rising. "And you still went and smiled in their faces. That's not cool, Nell. That's not loyalty." The room was dead silent. Other cast members glanced at one another, unsure whether to intervene or stay out of it. It wasn't just drama, it was discomfort. Real, raw tension that no producer could script. The air felt heavy as Martell's voice echoed off the walls, his pain spilling out for the whole world to witness. To some, it looked like another one of Martell's impulsive outbursts. But to others, especially those who followed his story closely, it was deeper than anger, it was heartbreak masked as rage. Because behind that tough exterior is a man who constantly feels misunderstood and misrepresented. Every time he tries to open up, something or someone makes him feel foolish for trusting again. Social media went wild within minutes. Fans dissected every frame, every word, every gesture. "He's projecting," one viewer tweeted. "He's still haunted by Melody and can't trust anyone." Another fan defended him, "Y'all don't get it. Martell's been betrayed so many times that even small things feel huge to him." And they weren't wrong. Martell's emotional history is complicated. He's been burned by love, criticized by fans, and doubted by his peers. So when Nell's actions, no matter how innocent, reminded him of that familiar sting, it triggered something deep inside. After the confrontation, Nell tried to reach out privately. She wanted to explain, to calm things down. But Martell wasn't ready to listen. "It's not about what you did," he reportedly said off camera. "It's about what it means. You don't know what that feels like." To him, her actions represented something far bigger, a fear that no matter how much he tries to change, people will never truly have his back. It's the same fear that drives his temper, the same one that keeps him from fully trusting anyone again. For Nell, the situation was heartbreaking. She never intended to hurt Martell. In her mind, she was simply being polite, trying to keep peace among a group that already carries enough tension. But Martell's emotional scars left no room for shades of gray. To him, it was black and white, you're either with me, or you're against me. And when it comes to loyalty, even the smallest cracks can feel like complete betrayal. As the tension spread across the cast, others tried to step in. Marceau, ever the mediator, urged Martell to calm down. "Bro, you're taking it too far," he said, trying to lighten the mood. But Martell wasn't having it. "Y'all don't get it," he fired back. "Every time I let my guard down, this happens. Every time." His voice cracked, revealing the raw emotion beneath his anger. It wasn't just about Nell, it was about everyone who'd ever made him feel expendable. For Martell, moments like these aren't just reality TV drama, they're reminders of his reality. Every time someone questions his loyalty or integrity, he flashes back to the humiliation, the criticism, the years of being labeled the villain. Every handshake that turns into gossip, every friendship that fades when the cameras stop rolling, reinforces that narrative in his mind. He's tired of it. And this time, it all came to the surface. In the days that followed, the fallout was brutal. Fans were divided. Some said Martell needed therapy, not confrontation. Others felt sympathy, saying they could see the pain behind his anger. Even castmates started rethinking where they stood. Nell withdrew for a while, unsure of how to move forward. She didn't want to feed the fire, but she also didn't want to stay silent and let the world think she betrayed someone she cared about. Meanwhile, Martell's social media posts hinted at regret, cryptic messages about loyalty, self-respect, and learning who's real. "Sometimes the people you protect are the ones who cut the deepest," one of his posts read. It didn't name Nell, but everyone knew who he was talking about. Behind the scenes, producers were both concerned and intrigued. The confrontation had gone viral, driving ratings through the roof. But the emotional toll was real. Martell wasn't just a reality star, he was a man unraveling under the weight of his reputation. In private moments, he admitted feeling isolated. "I don't even know who I can trust anymore," he confessed to a close friend. It wasn't the first time he'd said it, but this time, it sounded final. For someone like Martell, whose identity is tied so deeply to control and image, that kind of vulnerability is rare. It showed that beneath all the bravado, there's still a wounded man struggling to rebuild his sense of self. He wants to be seen as more than his mistakes, but every public misstep drags him back to the same label he's fought so hard to escape. Nell, on the other hand, has carried her own emotional weight since the blow-up. She's known for her grace and calm, but even she was shaken. Watching someone she once called a friend accuse her of betrayal on national TV wasn't easy. And even though she tried to move forward, the tension lingered unspoken but heavy.